What cheetahs in Andaman tell us about invasive species. Also, India-Mauritius revised tax treaty, what you need to know about double tax avoidance agreement. And finally, India's invitation for a Swiss conference. Why? Hello everyone, I am Manas Srivastav and I am here with the 3 must reads from the Indian Express today. Now before going ahead, let me just remind you that एक बहुत important article है UPSC section द्वारा of the Indian Express. This is called UPSC Key, जो कि आपको online मिलेगा on indianexpress.com, which tells you how to read, what to read, you know, the newspaper of the day, okay, for your competitive examinations, for any stage of competitive examinations, civil services, state civil services and other exams. Very relevant and will help you to, you know, answer the very important question for any aspirant: how to read a newspaper. Okay, now let's come to the topics for today. My first topic actually comes from the explained page. And as I say explained page, I would request you to open the explained page and look at this article. Now this article which I'm talking about is very relevant for environment, biodiversity topic. Environment के topics हों, biodiversity के topic हों, उसमें ये जो article है, explainer है, बहुत important हो जाता है. It's written by Nikhil Ghanekar and it says, like cheetahs in Andamans, how invasive species threaten natural ecosystem. इससे पहले कि मैं आगे बढ़ूं, Andaman and Nicobar is in news for other reason also. We've discussed it yesterday और आज के अखबार में भी इसके बारे में न्यूज़ है. वो क्या है आप कमेंट बॉक्स पे ज़रूर लिखें. Okay. Now let's come to this topic. It talks about invasive species. Okay. एनवायरमेंट बायोडाइवर्सिटी के टॉपिक्स में क्वेश्चंस में कई बार डेफिनेशंस के अराउंड काफ़ी क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा सकते हैं. ये चीज़ इकोनॉमी में भी होती है. Therefore you should just pick up the article and look for the definitions. Very important. इसके साथ साथ sometimes they give you examples and these examples can also become questions. For example, in this particular article आपको invasive species, convention on biological diversity which is CBD, Ross Island कहाँ पे है, atlas खोल के मार्क करिए, IPBES ये क्या होता है, इन सारी चीज़ों के बारे में बहुत कुछ पता चलेगा और साथ साथ में you'll get to know about some species. Sometimes in question, exams can be directly framed that they'll give a species name and they will ask you whether it's a fish, is it a bird or is it some animal, and you have to answer. ठीक है? So उस लिहाज से from that perspective this article becomes very important. Now let's look at the first paragraph. In a bid to manage the teeming population of cheetal, that is spotted deer, in Ross Island, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands Administration recently sought help from the Wildlife Institute of India. Native to mainland India, cheetal were brought to the Andamans by British game hunters in the early 20th century. Having no natural predator or competitors, the deer have spread across the island. Now, over the past 2 decades, studies have examined the herbivores' deleterious impact on the Andaman's native flora and fauna. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे एनिमल्स थे जिनको ब्रिटिश ने अपनी हॉबी, हंटिंग हॉबी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए इंट्रोड्यूस किया. बट देन विद टाइम व्हाट यू सी दैट देयर इज नो कंपटीशन ऑफ दिस स्पीशीज एंड देन देयरफॉर दे हैव बिकम अ काइंड ऑफ अ थ्रेट. नाउ इसमें जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें बार बार आएंगी वो हैं व्हाट इज़ एन इन्वेजिव एलियन स्पीशी, और इसकी जो डेफिनेशन है वो आपको CBD देती है, विच इज़ अ कन्वेंशन ऑन बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी. ओके, द फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ टेल्स यू ऑफ द क्वेश्चन दैट द कन्वेंशन ऑन बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी, दैट इज CBD, डिफाइंस इन्वेजिव एलियन स्पीशीज एज स्पीशीज हुज इंट्रोडक्शन एंड और स्प्रेड आउटसाइड देयर नेचुरल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन threatens biological diversity. These includes animals, plants, fungi and microorganism. Okay. Now इसके जो बाद वाला पैराग्राफ है ये भी एक बहुत पोटेंशियल क्वेश्चन देता है. तो पहले ने तो आपको डेफिनेशन दी, बट नाउ let's see, there's some important aspects which are mentioned here in the second and third paragraph. Okay. The CBD, the United Nations Global Treaty on Safeguarding Biological Diversity, so it tells you what is CBD, sums up the characteristics of the invasive alien species. What are the characteristics now? which are as follows: arrive, survive, and thrive. These three important words: arrive, survive, and thrive. This means that these species are introduced there through natural or human interventions, survive on native food resources, reproduce at a fast rate, and eventually edge out native species. What a wonderful way of explaining, isn't it? Three words which you have to remember: arrive, survive, and thrive. And then it has told you that how they do it. Now in India, in the next paragraph, it's tell you about India. What is the scenario in India, the situation in India, and what's the definition, the legal definition in India. In India, the legal definition of IS under Wildlife Protection Act 1972, amended in 2022, is narrower. They are defined as, and I quote, species of animals or plants which is not native to India and whose introduction or spread may threaten or adversely impact wildlife or its habitat. This leaves out species within India which might be invasive to a particular region, like the cheetal in Andaman. So remember, they leave out, this definition is leaving out the cheetals in Andaman. So there is a definition change. CBD की अलग definition है और ये आपकी जो Wildlife Protection Act है उसके according अलग definition है. Okay, so it does not include, it very specifically mentions that it leaves out species within India which might be invasive to a particular region. Okay, so species or animal which are not native to India are only seen as alien, or it's seen as invasive species. Now, other thing which I want you to note here are these images. These images are very important. Sometimes images pe question aa ja sakte hain. For example, the red-bellied piranha, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. This is a fish, okay, and sometimes questions can be asked. Similarly, you have the red-eared slider and African catfish, and of course cheetal तो आप देख ही रहे हैं. तो red-eared slider is, for instance, is amongst India's exotic pet owners and favorite among India's exotic pet owners. And you see this is a turtle, okay, it's a turtle. And then of course you have African catfish, which is a fish species. Now there are two kinds of impact which are mentioned here. One is of course the invasive species disrupt the food chain and therefore it disturbs the balance of the ecosystem. Also habitat where there is no competition, if they become a part of a habitat where there is no competition, these invasive species dominate the entire ecosystem. All right. The second important thing is the economic impact. और economic impact यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, and I'm reading, the global economic cost of these species was over $423 billion annually in 2019. These costs arise out of the damage IS inflict on an area's natural ecosystem. For example, as per India's National Biodiversity Authority, the cotton mealybug, an invasive species from North America, has severely affected cotton crops in the Deccan, leading to the yield of loss. Now, ये समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. What are their losses? Okay, what losses they incur to us? And secondly, these names and these definitions. Please pay attention to this small paragraph, that studies have shown that the proliferation of cheetals in the Andamans has affected the regeneration of native vegetation, as the deers are known to consume seed and seedlings. So this is the impact of these deers in the Andaman. Alright, so it's a very important article to be read. Please underline these important aspects, the keywords, try to find more about it and get your one sure question prepared for your exams. Now let's come to the second pick. The second pick today comes from the economy page. So when I turn to the economy page, there is this important article on India-Mauritius trade treaty. Okay, and it says that it's a tax treaty which has been revised. Okay, and it aims to plug evasion. Now, the first paragraph tells us that India has signed a protocol amending Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement DTAA with Mauritius to plug treaty abuse for tax evasion or avoidance. The amended pact has included what is called the Principal Purpose Test or PPT, which essentially lays out the condition that the tax benefits under the treaty will not be applicable if it is established that obtaining that duty benefit was the principal purpose of any transaction or agreement. Now, look, why I am doing this article with you and telling you this the second thing, because a lot of time in my live sessions when I take on every Wednesday, I've been told that, economy को पढ़ना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. What I would suggest that if it's difficult for you, please start with definitions and key terms. Now, for example, here you get to know about India Mauritius, you get to know about their treaty, that is double tax avoidance agreement. इसको अगर आप थोड़ा research करेंगे, you would find that, since world is getting globalized, okay, and there are people who not only individuals or companies who do not only work in their own country, but they go abroad and work there also. Now, what happens that sometimes when you are having companies in both the countries, or your companies are working in more than 2 or more countries, what happens is that you can have the tax problem. You're paying tax here also, you're paying tax there also. Okay, now to avoid this, okay, whichever place there is a higher tax, you can pay that particular tax in countries where there is this kind of agreement. मान लीजिए कि India and UK has for example, only I'm saying that India or US maybe has this kind of arrangement, this treaty arrangement, and the DTA, the double tax avoidance agreement. And if you are a businessman and you are having a company here which has also a branch there, so now what will happen? You might have to pay taxes both the places, but that will not be the case. What will happen? You will have to not pay double taxes. The income earned by you from the US will be taxed in either India or the US, okay, depending on the terms of the agreement. Okay, so either in one of the countries only the tax you have to pay. Now, this doesn't mean tax that you are not paying tax at all. Okay, it doesn't mean paying tax or not. You have to pay the tax. And finally, so if I quickly summarize you what is this double tax avoidance agreement. Double tax avoidance agreement is a treaty signed by 2 countries. The agreement is signed to make a country an attractive destination, as well as to enable individuals to get reliefs from paying taxes multiple times. Okay, so by this you are not completely avoiding taxes, but it does mean that you can avoid paying the higher taxes in both countries. Okay, you can avoid paying higher taxes in both countries. This is important. And it also reduces something called tax evasion. Now, this is about double tax avoidance agreement and what is double tax avoidance. इस तरह से आपको इकोनॉमी की न्यूज़ पढ़नी है. Pick up the word, go in detail, know about it, connect it with an example, and things will be easier. Now, again, here you would see that there are other terms. For example, there is foreign portfolio investors. इसके बारे में बात की गई है. When you come to the last 2 paragraphs, there's a very important word which can be a potential question in your exam, which is Pillar 2. Now, just let me quickly read this paragraph and you can also underline. The recent amendment reflects India's intent to align with global efforts against treaty abuse, particularly under the BEPS framework. Though India is yet to make any announcement regarding Pillar 2 amendments in its domestic tax laws, tax experts said it is anticipated that developments may be announced in the budget in July 2024 after election, experts said. In October 2021, over 135 jurisdictions agreed to implement a minimum tax regime for multinationals under Pillar 2. Following this, in December 2021, Organizations for Economic Cooperation and Development, that is OECD, released the Pillar 2 model rules called Global Anti-Base Erosion, that is GLOBE, rules, which will introduce a global minimum corporate tax rate set at 15%. The minimum tax is proposed to apply to MNEs with revenue about 750 million, and it is estimated to generate about $150 billion in additional global tax revenues annually. The Pillar 2 also provides for a coordinated system for taxation of a top-up tax on profits arising in a jurisdiction whenever the effective tax rate on a jurisdiction basis is below the minimum rate of 15%. Okay, so you get a lot of knowledge here about this pillar 2. You get that it is connected to OECD. You get to know about this global anti-base erosion rules. So this will suffice for your examination point of view. You don't need to be an expert in economy, but you should be aware of general things. Now, my last pick comes on the front page. This is regarding a Swiss conference and where India has got an invitation. Now, I want you to just, follow up this news properly, because this might come in your, in connection to Russia-Ukraine war. So, the heading is that Ukraine's Swiss planned June meet, Russia presents sooner or later. So, almost there, 3 months after Ukrainian president asked Switzerland to do so, the Swiss government Thursday announced it proposes to host a conference at the level of head of state that aims to provide a platform for a level of dialogue on way to reach a comprehensive, just as lasting peace for Ukraine based on international law and the UN Charter. Now here G7 is also very important because the timings is around that. So which are the countries which are part of G7? How will India respond to it? Because we have elections and soon after that this conference is probably taking place. So we have to be quick in response. What has been India's role so far? That is something in background you should know. And this will be a very continuing story. So you have to, keep a track of it. That's all from me today. If you want to write, please write at manas.srivastav@indianexpress.com. Think smart, work hard, conquer your goal. Bye-bye.